million.
Now, the Bram Weinstein Show on Washington's new home for sports, ESPN 630.
Hey, babies. Hey, babies. Hey, babies. Hey, babies. Hey, babies. Hi, everyone. What a day. What a day we have. All the football news is already happening. A Super Bowl quarterback's not going to play in the preseason now.
That's right.
I would doubt it.
Right.
Jimmy G, they said goodbye to him today.
That's right. Yeah.
The 49ers officially were like, we've moved on.
Like,
we're on to Cincinnati.
On to Trey. That
on
was
to
the
Trey.
literal quote. You have officially a new show starting at 5:30 to 6 o'clock starting
tomorrow. Commanders Daily.
That's right. Ding, ding.
Whoop, there it is.
An official partnership with the team.
Yeah. Vortex starts tomorrow morning. I'll be out at the practice field at 9 a.m. for day one training camp. You'll hear from Ron Rivera, we hope. If they stream it live, we'll play it for you live. It's his opening press conference at 5 o'clock. We'll do that. And then, obviously, I'd be remiss to not mention that Hail to the Redskins is back under a new name.
That's right.
Which you'll get to vote on. Mm-hmm. They've given two options. They're not too far different from one another.
That's right, yes.
At 4 o'clock, I'll play them for you. And maybe we'll have a little discussion about which Hail to the Commanders you like the best.
Yeah.
But I would say, to start with, I'm a little surprised they went straight back to, it's going to literally sound just like the old song. I thought that they might try to maybe use Hail to the Commanders, but do some different version, and it doesn't sound like that's happening because even in the press release that they put out, Barney Breeskin wrote it, he's DMV native. His family was involved in revamping and modernizing it, but it's, as far as I can tell, the same composition of song.
Correct. Yes. It's the same exact beat or backing track, instrumental, let's call it that, I guess.
Instrumental.
The lyrics are slightly changed.
Slightly.
I know we're going to get into it, but it's very much the same song. You pointed out they even continue to use Swamp 'Em.
Beat 'em, Swamp 'em.
Which
I was, again, like when we talked about this months ago, I went, that's a Native American, term. Or at least it's supposed to be reminiscent of a Native American term.
Yes.
I was surprised they kept that in.
So I will say to you, Swamp 'Em, not unlike the word Redskins, hadn't been used in so long. I actually kind of like a newer connotation that we all live in the DMV.
We live in the swamp?
We live in the swamp, and that Swamp 'Em can become our term, kind of, for teams coming into FedEx Field or whatever the new stadium's going to be.
Hey, look, here's what I know is going to happen when they start playing it. People are going to sing Hail to the Redskins.
Well, I said that to my brother.
That's what's going to happen in the stadium.
Because we're season ticket holders, right?
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to guess by the third game, I accidentally say Redskins at some point. Because I'm going to have a beer or two and just say it because I've been singing it my whole life. It's going to come out. And I'm going to say, that's me being drunk. I'm going to guess sober people are going to say Redskins all the time.
I don't want to be nitpicky about syntax, but Redskins is 2 syllables and Commanders is 3. So,
that's why,
there's a little awkwardness of just sliding in a word that
we'll listen to it at 4 o'clock because
Yeah.
I'm interested to hear how that sounds. So at 4 o'clock, we'll have the 2 versions played on the air.
Well, I feel like they're like playing Hail to the Redskins, except just like you hear a different voice pop in for a second. It's like, Hail to the Commanders. Hail, victory.
It's Mo from The Simpsons.
Yeah, Commanders.
Yeah.
It like pops in, or Barty burps and says Commanders. Okay, the other news is we will have mascot categories at the first preseason game.
Yes.
That's when they will unveil the categories. What does that mean? There are different kinds of mascots?
I feel, yes, that we will get either animal or regalia choices here.
Okay.
And then we get the options from there. Like, I have joked to you, if they just don't make the mascot a pig dressed in military gear and call him the boss hog or something very similar, they're botching this.
A pig in military gear feels obvious to me. That has to happen.
Right.
Yes.
But they're going to give everyone their options.
That doesn't mean everyone votes for it, but that seems to be the category.
Yeah.
If there's no pig in military gear category, I'm going to be surprised.
That's right.
Yeah.
Giving this one to you for free, Commanders.
Is there a red wolf?
Is there a panda?
You want to, like, is Jason Wright in the videos of the brand thing made a nod to the fans that were like, we heard you about Red Wolves. We couldn't get it. We couldn't take it seriously.
Right.
Maybe there's a category where there's a Red Wolf.
Maybe. Raljon the Red Wolf. What? What's wrong with that?
I want a panda, as you know.
Yeah.
And I think there's good reason for it.
And so I think we're going to get the options. Do you want, it's going to be like a, the like peel thing on your refrigerator, or the magnets with the stickers. You either have a pig, a panda, or a red wolf, and then you get to pick what they're going to wear. So it's either military regalia or a jersey or, I don't know, something else. But then we get to pick from there, I guess.
There's something about a giggling Gibbs character that I kind of like too. Yeah. Every time something good happens, you just
your guts out. Super smart.
All right. Well. All right. So all that's happening. In the meantime, what else? Oh, Chris Carson retired today.
Yes,
that happened.
Saw that. Yep.
Debo's in.
Debo has reported.
Showed up.
Yep.
So I guess they're giving him a contract. Why else would he show up after all of that?
Did you see that they were asked about Bosa? And they're like, yeah, next year.
Next year.
There was like no hesitation. She's like, his time's coming. Just talk to us next year.
Like, give me a break.
Do you see what's happening in front of us here?
Lynch is like, give me a break, man. It's like, stop making me do this constantly. Anyway.
It's amazing.
So all that's happening. Meantime, I planned on starting with this. I didn't realize all these things were going to happen in the last hour.
Yeah.
But I want to start with this. Headline, Tom Verducci. The Nationals have no choice but to trade Juan Soto.
Stop it.
Of which I would say they do have a choice.
They absolutely do.
They don't have to trade him.
Yeah.
And I still don't understand why they're even thinking about it right now.
Correct. Exactly.
You want to hear his reasoning?
Sure, let's do it. Let's hear him out on it.
Number one, Washington has no chance of signing him to an extension. Of which I would say back to him,
you don't know that.
How do you know that?
Yeah, you don't know that. You don't know, that. You don't know if the next Steve Cohen's coming in and saying,
right,
you want $600 million? Here it is, pal.
Right.
You don't
is
know
Elon Musk buying the Nationals?
Right. If Bezos is coming.
He tried to buy Twitter, sight unseen. Maybe he'll buy the Nationals without vetting them either.
Right. Correct. You never know. Bezos
we'll be
could be coming
using Dogecoin to get our hot dogs.
Bezos could be coming in and it's Amazon Park at Nationals Field or whatever it is.
You're right. At this point, I don't know. Tom, do you know who's owning them? Because I don't. So, like, you're telling me the next owner has no chance, but you don't know who the next owner is. Okay, pal.
So we actually are now, as I said yesterday, we're in full-blown Bradley Beal territory now, where everybody's saying, you got to do it, you got to go, you got to do it, even though they don't at all.
He writes this. The Nationals offered him $440 million, which is a staggering amount, but on an annual basis over 15 years would pay him 16% less than what the Angels are paying Anthony Rendon. Anthony Rendon did not get a total package worth $440 million.
Right.
Stop with this. It was the most money ever offered to anybody, ever. Period. Stop calling them cheap. Stop pretending that didn't happen. Stop making it sound like they put a ridiculous offer in front of them.
Sure.
It's the biggest contract. And the money, this isn't the NFL. The money's guaranteed.
Right.
So what? He would take it for what? 14 years?
Right. I don't know.
13 years?
We don't know that.
We don't know that.
Yeah.
So stop saying that. Like, no chance signing to extension. Who told you that, Tom?
Yeah, it's BS.
Or is that...
It's Boris.
Boris said there's no chance of him signing an extension, and so he wrote that.
Right.
Let's see. His next part. 2, the Nationals are the worst team in baseball with one of the worst farm systems.
Okay. I hear him out on that.
I mean, okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Doesn't mean you have to trade him.
They're not better without him.
Right. Correct. They're trading him for 5 to 6. They're trading him for 5 to 6 lottery tickets. You're hoping 3 of them work out.
Yeah. They're holding the Mega Millions ticket.
Yes.
They don't need to trade it in.
Correct. Exactly.
For 6 other ones.
That's right.
Let's see. I'm going to give you this nickel for 5 pennies. Let's see. The team is being sold. Right. Right. Reason.
That contradicts your other point there, Tom.
Yeah. So there's no way Soto is committing his prime years to a franchise in which the owner and direction are unknown. Let's see. Moreover, quote, team executive said to him, just about every owner does not want the headache and PR hit of having to trade the team's best player immediately after buying the team. They prefer to have the problem removed. Sorry, guys. We tried to sign him. He didn't want to take the money, but in good faith to our fan base, we've decided not to let this play out now because there's 2 years left, and we are going to stick it. Do you want to buy the team or not?
Right.
You're not going to tell us what to do with Juan Soto until you own the team.
That's right.
That's like me telling them what to do.
Exactly.
Tom. Ridiculous. Okay. Yeah. And that's an executive hoping they'll trade him.
Right. Exactly.
Well, no new owner wants that headache. Yeah. They don't. I bet you that dude up with the Mets didn't care.
That's right. Yes.
If he bought this team, he would have been like, how much does he want?
That dude bought out Robinson Cano.
He doesn't care.
It's one of the biggest contracts.
He gave Max Scherzer $80 million over 2 years at age 38.
Right.
He gave Lindor all that money. He doesn't care.
We've entered full Bradley Beal crazy mode now, where
this is
everyone's
stupid.
prying him. Everyone's prying him.
This is stupid.
I agree.
It's so stupid. Let's see. 4. Soto's value immediately goes down on August 3rd if he's still a National. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't.
Right.
I mean, I guess, all right, you know what? I'll buy this because there are a few teams that are reportedly interested in him that won't be with the service time situation.
Correct, yeah.
So, they're saying, 2 teams that are hot and heavy to get him are the Guardians and the Rays, neither of which are ever going to pay him $450 to $500 million.
That's right.
But if they get him now, they got 3 runs with the guy before he becomes a free agent.
Right.
Meantime, he's going to spend that entire last year talking about where he's going that's not Cleveland.
Correct. And same thing with who I had said from the beginning, the Padres. The Padres are going, let's go all in, and we don't have to pay him.
We don't have to pay him. And then if we want to pay him, we could probably trade one of the other guys.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely.
Tatis still really young at that point.
So I'll hear him out on that one because I think that's probably
okay.
Right. You can probably pry an extra prospect or 2 out of
I will buy. The value does go down because the amount of teams interested would be less.
Now, I would say this.
The big teams, they don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
They all want them, and they'll always all want them.
Right.
The little teams like this that are going, oh, my God, we could have this guy for 3 years.
Yeah.
I will hear Verducci out as that is a reason, but it's still a choice.
And I would say this, though, counterpoint, if you get 2 to 3 to 4 teams in the offseason that are hot and heavy to get them for 2 postseason runs and 2 full seasons, guess what? That'll create a bidding war where they might give you just as much as you would have gotten at the trade deadline if they all start bidding against each other. So
let's see, 5. The interest in Soto's off the charts. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Captain
Really?
Obvious.
You think so? Let's see.
Appreciate that.
Let's see. Soto will cost the team $5.3 million for the remainder of this year, about $55 million for his final 2 arbitration seasons. The Twins are paying Carlos Correa $81 million over the same 2.5 years. Every team with the hope of winning the World Series in this 3-year window must be in on Soto, including the Guardians and the Rays, which all of a sudden there's that.
Right.
And he even says Cleveland, Tampa Bay, yep, the pool's that deep. That's what he said. There are teams he said that are never out of the bidding. Yankees, Dodgers, Red Sox, Cubs, etc.
Right.
Add teams with new ownership that are willing to mortgage the long-term cost to seize the 3-season window. Mets, Padres, Guardians. I cannot, for the life of me, come to a conclusion that even if they do want to trade him, that he goes to the Mets.
I would
that
agree.
Sounds just utterly insane.
I've heard that they are open to dealing Josh Bell to the Mets for the right price, but it's going to cost them more. So I don't think it's happening with Soto, though.
Right. I just trade Josh Bell to the Mets, fine. Especially if they're going to give us the best price for it. He's only under contract for the rest of this year.
That's right.
He probably won't even be there after this year. Who cares?
I would say the Mets are
He also is not a generational player.
Right. What I was going to say was the Mets are not the Rays or the Guardians. They're going to re-sign him once he gets there. So, no, you cannot do that.
Verducci also says the Rays are partially in this group not only because they, see this window with him that would be affordable, but they're desperate to generate momentum to get a ballpark.
Okay.
So
you think that would get the momentum going for them? All right.
If they were to win the World Series, maybe. But, I mean,
they'd have
I
to go really all in on that, though. That's a hell of a chip to put in on him.
And then, let's see, and he put, he actually said, see their free agent interest in Freddie Freeman, that apparently that they were trying to get in on that. Probably got outbid.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah,
there were too many years
One
on
executive. Cleveland and Tampa Bay both have the need, and more importantly, the young talent to get this deal done. I count them in among a lot of teams that are in play. Cleveland and the Rangers, Brewers, Padres, Mariners have had the longest World Series title droughts. Tampa Bay, a newer franchise, and the 5 others has never won one. No way these teams should be sitting out the chance to do this. Give them 3 shots at a championship. Milwaukee has been home to a World Series winning team when the Braves beat the Yankees in 1957. Yikes. Let's see. Cardinals have the most Major League ready young talent to trade. Blue Jays, who were built to win in this 3-year window. And the Giants, a fading contender that needs a new star. And you have half the teams in baseball in which you could create an ultimate bidding war. And then he writes this about Rizzo. Ultimately, Rizzo, a former scout, will choose the elite young talent he most wants and then finish a deal with others. What will it take to get him? Start with the team's best prospect. He's too good and the field's too crowded for Rizzo to make a deal without getting the club's number one prospect. It will also take 4 other elite prospects, or 3 if the team is willing to take on Patrick Corbin.
Okay. I'm willing to hear that one out to get rid of that contract. I'm willing to hear it out.
I'm not willing to hear anything out on Patrick Corbin, getting rid of... That's just sunk cost money. I'm not getting out of a generational player to get out of a bad contract that you have. Sorry.
Here's the thing, though. In the offseason...
I ain't trading Bradley Beal for nothing to get rid of Mahinmi.
Well...
Okay.
Here's the thing, though. This offseason, you've got Arenado is going to be a free agent off the Cardinals. You have Trey Turner is going to be a free agent.
Arenado's a free agent?
He's going to be.
I thought he had signed a long-term deal.
He can opt out after this year.
And he's going to.
Right.
Because he's got the numbers to opt out this year?
That's right.
So the Cardinals got a big hole then.
So they're probably looking at this as...
Maybe he doesn't opt out then. We'll say what the money is, right?
Yeah, it depends what the money is. And if he wants to leave there. I don't know his situation. But here's what would happen there. That could get them... that would get Patrick Corbin off the books, and they could possibly replace that with an everyday player. I'm willing to hear that out, is all I'm saying. Here's the thing. Patrick Corbin's not taking away the number one prospect that they're getting back. It's the next, I don't know, number 4 or 5 guy. So I'm willing to hear that out. I am.
He gives us the history of the mega deals. Ken Griffey Jr. came up in Kevin Blackstone's piece yesterday. I agree with that, but Ken Griffey Jr., as a reminder, was 30 when they traded him.
Correct, exactly.
Not 23.
Yes.
He was 30. Mookie Betts was traded. He only had 1 year of control left. He's 4 years older than Soto now.
Yep.
They had made a determination that they wanted to rejigger their salary.
Yes, correct.
And they were not going to pay him that kind of money.
Betts, not unlike Soto, had won a championship too.
Yeah. So that one was, but he also, again, 27, 28, and they had decided they're not going to pay him this. They also had other players on their team that were making a lot of money.
That's right.
And the reboot has worked for them.
Correct. Yeah.
They also have consistently kept other stars there, unlike this particular team.
Right.
So there's a difference.
Yes.
Giancarlo Stanton was a salary dump when the Marlins did that.
Yep.
Randy Johnson was traded later in his career. CC Sabathia went from Cleveland to Milwaukee in 2008. Max Scherzer goes Nats to the Dodgers. He also throws in Trey Turner, which seemed odd, still does to me. To get an idea of what a return might be on a Soto deal, I chose the 3 biggest deadline blockbusters this century that involve superstars with multiple years of control. And I also added the 2007 deal that sent Miguel Cabrera from the Marlins to the Tigers, even though that was a December deal, because Cabrera is the most recent rare trade value comps to Soto in terms of age. Cabrera was only 24 at the time, and the numbers kind of stack up.
Correct.
They're very close to one another.
One of the best hitters of all time. Yeah.
Takeaway for buyers: a package of 4 to 5 players is worth taking a shot at the World Series. For the seller, make sure you get a number 1 prospect in the package deal, but don't expect to win a deal in which you give up a generational talent. For Rizzo, the clock is ticking. And he mentioned Curt Schilling, who was 33. Philadelphia to Arizona. They did win a championship. Him and Randy Johnson were the 2 aces of that team. Bartolo Colon went from Cleveland to Montreal, 2002. Mark Teixeira went from Texas to Atlanta in 2007. The players that went back there were Elvis Andrus, Jared Saltalamacchia, Matt Harrison, Neftali Feliz.
Solid guys, nothing going
Andrews was
there.
okay. Saltalamacchia was a journeyman. He was okay.
Yep.
He was okay. Cabrera went. They got 2 top prospects and 4 fringe prospects headlined by Cameron Maybin. They ended up with nothing.
Yeah, Cameron Maybin's a solid MLB player for 15 plus years, but bounced around.
Listen, there are some points in there at which I will agree, and we'll hear out. There are some points in there, like his value does go down a little, because the pool of teams that are interested in doing this based on the team control aspect of it will go down if you get to the offseason, because it's not 3 potential runs, it's 2. And if you are going to trade him someone like Cleveland or Tampa, what you do know is that Soto will end up becoming a free agent and will end up leaving those places. And so his career is going to be weird and all over the map for someone as good as he is.
Right.
I still feel like there is no merit to trading him at all right now.
I'd agree.
I would rather take a chance of starting a new relationship with the new ownership group and finding a way to find some common ground to keep him here, and that he is your cornerstone player. And you draw a line at certain people, and I draw a line at him.
Yep.
If this was the last year of his contract and he, isn't going to re-sign here or makes that relatively clear, even if it's quietly, I'll hear out you have no choice but to trade him. But they do have a choice not to trade him right now, and I don't think they should.
Yeah.
At all. And whatever they come back with, well, we got this crazy haul. Call me in 5 years if any of them are half as good as this guy, which in all likelihood, they're not.
I mean, I will say this. I'm not going to discount Mike Rizzo's finding of talent. He's been able to do that. But I still do not think trading him right now for 1 to 2 extra pieces outweighs gambling and trying to get the next set of ownership to do it in the wintertime and then trying to move on. Because that's what I think is the number one takeaway from all of this is I'll hear you out on the value of right now. If it gets you 2 extra prospects back, if you can move Patrick Corbin and it takes one away, I'm willing to hear that, to reason with it. But I'm not willing to hear it when there's new ownership on the way in literally months that might be able to keep him around.
Yeah.
It is one of the most unique situations. I understand if you don't think you can get it done. We don't know if the next set of ownership is going to get it done or not, but give them the chance to, is what I'm saying here.
That's what I think.
Public trust is what I'm getting at here.
Correct. Public trust, and I don't think they should trade him at all, and I think we should revisit all of this when a new owner's in town, and if it comes to the same conclusion, like it'll be the first order of business for them.
Yes.
And the first thing they would say at their press conference is, we're going to talk to Juan Soto, and we're going to talk to his representatives. We're going to share what our vision is for this franchise, and we're going to find out what the parameters are for him to stay.
Yep.
And we're going to tell you up front, our goal is to keep him here. If he tells us in no uncertain terms will he re-sign with us, we will trade him.
There you go.
But he's going to have to say that to us.
Correct.
We want him here.
Right.
Put it on him.
Yep.
Make him say it.
Yes.
Make him say it. I don't want to be. He can use an excuse of, and I think it's a fair one. I don't know who's going to own the team. Why would I sign a contract with it? Like, I don't even know who's going to own the team.
Yep.
And when they have the new owner, that'd be my advice to the new owner, walk in first day and go, our intention is to keep him here and to make him the highest paid player ever in the history of the game.
Right.
Now, we don't know where he stands, and we plan to talk to him and share our vision. And if he doesn't agree with that vision or decides he doesn't want to sign a contract for the largest amount of money ever, then we will be forced to make, a trade. But that's not our goal. We want him here.
Yep.
This isn't that hard.
Exactly.
And we have plenty of time. And I'll hear out Rizzo going, but I can get the Guardians on the hook for this and the Rays, and come November at the winter meetings, I can't talk to them anymore because they won't fleece out their farm system to make this happen now. Okay, sorry. What, you can't get 5 great players from the Dodgers?
Right.
You did last year. You got 2 of them.
I'd say I keep hearing about how the Cardinals have the most ready-made prospects. What, are they not going to be there in the winter?
Not going to be there? And if you're right, and Arenado's not there anymore, well, that's a big chunk of salary that's not on that team any longer.
That's right.
So They're not there?
Mm-hmm. Right.
I don't want to hear it. You don't trade them. Just don't.
I would just say this.
Period. Don't.
If they didn't have new ownership on the way, I'd actually be willing to bend. I'm not saying I would break for it. I'd be willing to bend and hear what's actually happening. But this unique set of circumstances is screaming, you cannot do this. You cannot
No,
do
you
it.
can't do this. I mean, if this was... I don't think... If they weren't selling the team, I don't think this would be happening right now. Right. I think they probably would try to wait it out. I would think.
I would also like to reiterate, coming up this weekend, the Nats are playing the Cardinals at home.
Oh.
And if you want to get that tribute video out of the way... Let's just do it. Rip the Band-Aid off on Friday.
I heard some people chanting future Dodger last night at him. Did you see that?
I didn't see that, but he killed him last night, so had fun with that.
Hit
a triple that won him the game. So.
It's another, this doesn't seem to bother him all that much. He went and won the home run derby. Mm-hmm. He took it all in stride. They ruined his all-star weekend through the whole thing.
That's right.
Took it in stride. He had a great game last night in front of his new home crowd.
Let's hope not. I also saw the tweets from the Nats reporter saying he had to deflect 4 minutes worth of questions of basically that he's a future Dodger, and he just kind of
All right. Like freezing cold, take me if you want. Whatever trade they do for him this week will end up looking like one of the worst trades in the history of baseball.
Okay.
I don't care who you do it with.
Make the note of it.
Make the note.
3:25 on Tuesday, July 26th.
If they trade him, I don't care what the deal is. It'll end up being one of the worst trades in history when this guy ends up breaking records for somebody else. And we have a bunch of guys who, they were really good prospects.
Right.
Yeah, bet they were.
Mm-hmm.
Bet they were.
Agree with you.
Okay, take a quick break. Brave wants to show ESPN 630 Sports Capital. All right, welcome back. Ben Standig is reporting that Chase Young will start on the PUP list, which is physically unable to perform list, when camp opens tomorrow. Ron Rivera addresses the media in an hour and a half, so I'm sure he will address that. There are other candidates like Logan Thomas, Chase Roulier, a couple of others that potentially could be. It means that he will not practice until he's removed from that list. This is not a surprise. This is why I went off on Booger McFarland the other day with him saying he's going to come back and get 20 sacks.
Yeah.
He's not even ready to practice. What are you talking about? Don't put that on him. I don't know if he's going to be ready for week 1. No one out there is telling me he's going to be ready for week 1. They're hopeful. The more likely scenario is that he misses the first couple of games because they want it slow. They don't want to rush him. They want to get him right. And I don't blame him. He's got too big of a future here that if he has to miss the Jacksonville game, it isn't the worst thing on earth. So I got to, I'll know a lot more today when Rivera speaks and tomorrow when we go out there, but this is not a surprise. So, any of us that cover the team are not surprised by this.
Wait, you mean Chase Young, Washington Star, isn't having a full-blown campaign saying he's all in for week 1 with Adidas and Gatorade campaigns?
No, he is.
He's not?
He's all in for getting his knees right.
What does that mean?
That's what he is.
What are we doing? What world are we living in?
He's all in for getting his knees right. He might dance for Eastern Motors, maybe.
He wasn't there yesterday.
Oh, he wasn't?
No.
Who's in it?
It was McLaurin, Samuel, and Gibson.
Boy, what a year McLaurin's having. Woo, he's cashing it. Big year.
Let's be honest here. Chase was already doing Under Armour and a few other things. Probably too expensive for the local media. That's all.
That's true. I wonder.
His rate's probably not cheap.
I bet it isn't.
So I'm just,
even with a bad knee.
And get your money, kid. Yeah. I'm not knocking him, but I'm gonna guess they could probably get a couple other stars in exchange for one.
I'll talk about this a lot more in the 5 o'clock hour because we'll get ready for training camp, which opens tomorrow out in Ashburn. But because of this, that Chase that I assumed is not going to practice much this summer, probably not play in the preseason games. I can't imagine why he would.
Right.
And then we'll see, for week 1. But I'll know a lot more. Now that he's on the PUP list, I'll know a lot more in a couple of weeks, probably.
Exactly.
And get a sense of whether he's really going to start the season or not. Yesterday, I was invited to a camp of young aspiring play-by-play announcers, all aged in 12 to 18. And it was fun because I got to sit there and they're serious. They're all very serious about it. And so they asked a lot of questions because they're locals. They were asking a lot of questions about the Commanders. And they said, who do you think is going to have a breakout year? And I said, I don't know if Montez Sweat counts, but if he does, in your mind, I think he will. One, it's important for him to. It's basically not quite a contract year, but it basically is. And if he stands out while Chase Young's not playing, that's going to be huge for him. So I think it's him. And on the other side of the ball, I said the same thing. I go, if you don't count Antonio Gibson, as not already have broken out, then I would say him. He's going to have a big year for them this year. I hope. Interior O-line holds up. I think he's going to have a very big year for them. I hope.
Fair enough.
Okay, so there's that. All right, I want to go back to Soto for a minute. I was thinking about this. I didn't talk about this yesterday because all these other things started happening. But so I'm watching what's happening here, and I kind of just don't understand it at all. And all these situations are very different. And I read this one piece where someone was trying to do a comp of the Durant ask by the Nets and the Nationals ask of Soto going, okay, we'll trade him, but it's going to cost you. And cost you in a historic way.
Sure.
Right? And in either case, at least the Durant one, he's older.
Sure.
How many more runs does he really have?
Right.
In Soto, I'm like, oh my God. Guy's got to play 15 more years and could be the MVP 10 times. This is utterly ridiculous.
Right. And you also, if you sign him to a 10-year contract and the next 3 years are still rebuilding, you're still giving up 7 pennant runs with him on your own team.
Yeah.
So if you're good enough, if everything goes to plan.
So, but I was thinking about this, and I know none of these things are the same, but these guys are at least semi-close in age and seemingly have similar but probably very different contractual issues that are going on right now, and they play in different sports. But I'm watching how the Nationals are handling this Soto thing, which feels rash and irrational in a lot of ways to me. You can paint all the pictures you want how this makes sense. It doesn't to me. And then I'm watching how the Ravens have been handling Lamar Jackson for more than a year now, where, this is the time, if you are that level of a quarterback, to, I don't know, take the $250 million. And for some reason, he's not doing it. And the Ravens are consistently painting it like he's the one who isn't coming to us. We're ready to talk. And that may or may not be the total truth of the whole thing. Maybe Jackson hasn't liked what he's heard so far. But I got a feeling they're going to bite the bullet and pay him exactly what Kyler Murray got yesterday without the homework clause.
Yes. Without the homework clause.
If he came to them, but for some reason he's not. And because of that, I don't know what's going on there. But all I'm saying is I'm watching two local-ish organizations, and I don't like the way one is handling one of these at all. It's spiraled to me quickly and for almost no reason. And the other one, they're at least handling it publicly, both sides of it. But the team, because they could be freaking out that he won't take their money a little bit. And they're not doing that because not unlike Soto, the reality is he's under team control for 3 more years.
Correct.
They could franchise him next year. They could franchise him again the year after. 3 full years.
Yep.
Why are they not freaking out, talking about trading him and getting all the assets now and what the huge number of teams that would line up to try to get him and what they would give up to do it? Because I'm pretty convinced somebody would give them, at bare minimum, 2 first-round picks and probably a couple starters to acquire him and pay him $50 million a year. And they're not doing it.
Right.
I will just say, I prefer the way they're handling that than the way our baseball team happens to be handling this. And I don't know what's going on with the Lamar thing. I don't know why he's not demanding the money, because he can get it from him, but he's not, which if I was a Ravens fan, I would be feeling one of 2 ways about. Either I'm glad because I don't want to give him all that money because while I think he's good, I don't think he's Pat Mahomes, right?
Right.
Or I could be like, we're going to let the greatest quarterback that's ever come through here at a premature age go, and I don't know why we can't keep him.
Right.
One of the two.
Yeah. No, I think
a lot of people are right in the middle of it, right?
Sure.
Because there's a lot of believers in him, and there should be. There's a lot of reasons to believe in him.
Right.
In my opinion, there's a lot of reasons to nitpick his game. I don't, for a second, not think he's really good. Really, really, really good. But on the is he going to get you over the top? I'm concerned about an aspect of his game. That doesn't change the fact that I don't think clearly you can win with the guy. That's not in question. He's not a bust. He's not a liability. But there's a couple of things that he doesn't do well that makes me go, in a tight game against a really good team, can he bring them back down 10 in the fourth quarter with his arm? I don't know.
Right.
Can he?
Well, it brings me to the quote from the defensive coordinator yesterday in the Sando piece, was saying, oh, well, if they've got to come back or do the 2-minute drill and you got to rely on him, who knows? And I was kind of going,
that's not even controversial. He said it.
Right. It's not.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I go, yeah, and you got to stop him for 3 quarters from running the ball, which is easier said than done with that guy.
Easier said than done.
Because sometimes he doesn't have to do that because they're up by 10 or 14 points because it's worked so well.
And who's to say he doesn't run for a 50-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter?
That's right.
Because he's that kind of guy.
Yeah, I get it. Right. I didn't think it was controversial, but it's also, he lays in his own bed.
I mean, I know these are all different, but they are similar age, similar, they've had crazy moments at times where I don't know that he's already won an MVP. So I guess there were a period of time where I guess enough people thought he was the best quarterback. I never would have gone that far. He might, for a period of time, and he may still be the most dynamic athlete in the game.
Sure.
I'll buy that,
absolutely.
For a second.
For sure.
And clearly, they're better with him than without him. That's not, and I don't think they'll be half as good if they put the backup in and he's not playing anymore. But I'm watching them deal with this, and I think they're handling it. No one's getting real crazy up there, or at least they're not acting that way publicly. It's not spiraling. They're not all of a sudden going, well, if you don't want to come to us with a contract, it means you don't want to be here, so we're just going to get rid of you.
Right.
Unlike our team, where people are hitting the nuclear button over and over for what, in my opinion, is no reason. Like, why are we doing this?
And also, the Ravens have not let go the equivalent to generational talents every other year as well, or traded one away.
No. Ray Lewis played his career there. So did Ed Reed.
So did Ed Reed, yeah.
Well, he might have ended somewhere, but
Sure, but you look at the, I don't know, the Jonathan Ogdens of the world. They have a couple of those guys that have just stayed there their whole careers.
Ogden, T. Sizzle played the vast majority of his career.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sure, they ended up on some team at the end of their career, but not in the middle of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I would say the hockey team doesn't let their guys go.
Yep.
Their generational players have been here.
Yep.
Right now, for better or worse, for sure.
Sure, yes.
But... and I think, I get on Ted about the loyalty can only go so far. At some point, you do have to make a cold-blooded sports decision. At some point, you have to, and it's biting them now.
Exactly.
Because the window's closed on these guys, in my opinion. I don't see it. Unless this Darcy Kemper guy turns into Dominic Hasek, it ain't happening.
Right.
We got half our team's skating around on one leg right now.
Right.
Ovi wants to play soccer.
He did score.
He did score.
Just,
against a bunch of bloggers.
Still.
Not against Real Madrid. Okay, let's get that.
That was a very nice highlight. I don't care who it was.
The best highlight was when he trucked the guy. Yeah, that was the best highlight that they showed. Anyway, and then here's the Nationals where while I think to have a fair conversation about them, you have to be nuanced about each of these examples, but there is a bottom line that none of them are here.
That's right.
None of them.
Right. And
they've had a pile of Hall of Famers come through here in the last decade, and they're about to have none of them on the team.
Here's the other thing. The Ravens and the Nats trajectory is basically the same. The Ravens won a Super Bowl early in their time here, then won another one, and had, quote,
a whole different team, really.
Had, quote, the Raven way established within the first 10 years of their franchise.
Right.
And here's the Nats, who are perennial contenders for almost a decade. We'll give them 9 years or 8 years, whatever you want to say. And everyone knows how their operation works, that there's still no loyalty built up to them, essentially. We're getting articles written from Kevin Blackstone saying, why should I stick around if you let that guy walk out the door? That means you fumbled the bag year after year in terms of team loyalty.
As you know, I will pet peeve. This is why I wanted Blackstone on so bad, because I was so glad someone wrote that.
Yeah.
Because I'm so pet peevy about how the media here just won't go after them the way they'll go after, if you really think about all the things that they've done the last few years, how are you not pulling the knife out on them and hitting them from the back constantly going, what are you guys doing?
Yep.
Yet half of the stories, if not more, are, I can see the logic in this. Can you? We're the worst team in the game right now after we won the World Series a few years ago, and they're about to trade away Babe Ruth. You want to explain to me how that makes any sense to you whatsoever?
Right.
Because when we let Peyton Barber go last summer, you guys wanted to murder Ron Rivera. Okay?
You wanted to murder Ron Rivera.
I did, actually. Probably a bad example.
That wasn't us.
That was the one.
Yeah, you were
that
really
was the
mad
one.
about it.
But as my running joke is, on the postgame show, when they don't convert a 3rd and 7 in the fourth quarter and someone screams Dan Snyder at Fred Smoot, I'm like, he had nothing to do with it.
Right.
I think the way Baltimore has somehow and they must have the same questions. Certainly, aren't they leery of giving him the biggest quarterback contract in the league?
Right.
They must be.
Right.
But they're going to. It sounds like they're going to.
One counter.
If he's willing to take it, yet he's not. But we don't have this spiraled out of control, what are we going to do with our young superstar conversation like we're having with Soto right now?
One counterpoint, and I really think it is important here. Juan Soto is dealing with, the devil reincarnated in an agent. Lamar doesn't have one.
Lamar doesn't have one, which I think most people are like, this is part of the problem.
And so there is no actual gamesmanship within the media. So I will say that's a major issue, but at the same time, the Ravens haven't.
But him not having one consistently says to me, though, that he's not leaving.
Sure.
If you're just intending on re-signing, but what I don't get is why won't he re-sign?
Right.
Why won't you take the generational wealth?
The question mark's
why
just
won't
as big.
you take it?
Yeah, agree.
And the only thing anyone can come up with is he hasn't decided he wants to stay there. But not unlike Soto, the Ravens are like, we don't care. We have you under team control for 3 years.
That's right.
At a lower rate than what you would make if you take this contract. Don't you understand that?
Right.
And Deshaun Watson's agent is like probably calling him every 10 minutes going, did you see what I got that guy?
Right.
And you don't have any problems. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I can get you? Whether it's from them or somebody else?
Right.
It's crazy. All right, let me take a quick break. Very much the show he's at 6:30 Sports Capital. Are you saying like subconsciously Soto's gone?
No, I wasn't, but
another one bites the dust.
Good catch. No, I didn't.
I am. You're probably not part of next door because you don't care, right, about your neighbors. I don't give a crap about your neighbors.
I used to be, and then I had to actually just shut it down because even after unsubscribing, I got too many. Where's this dog from? And just far too much.
I'm going to assume this one is a dog. I'm only going to read it because it's funny. It says, please drop Lenny off at 7709, and I won't say the name of the street, so he can come home to his cat. And I'm like, is that a dog? Is that a man named Lenny? Is Lenny lost? Who's Lenny? A little more. You seem to think we all know who Lenny is.
The internet's a weird place.
Is Lenny an old man walking around the neighborhood that I need to find and drop him off so he can go back to his cat?
Is Lenny a 7-year-old boy? We don't know.
We don't know.
Right.
Is Lenny a dog?
Right.
Is Lenny a guinea pig?
Right.
Is Lenny your imaginary friend?
Could be.
Who knows? I saw this story. You'll love this one.
Oh, what's this?
NBC News. A 100-pound sailfish. And what I want you to picture is like one of those, if you ever go to an old school seafood restaurant,
yes,
and you see one of those giant fish with a giant sword for a snout and a big giant fin.
Got it.
Up on the wall.
Yes.
That's this thing.
All right.
So let me start over. A 100-pound sailfish leaped out of the water and impaled a 73-year-old Maryland woman on a fishing boat in Florida.
Oh, no.
That's not supposed to be funny.
I mean,
terrible.
The vision is like a cartoon.
It is.
I'm trying not to laugh, but
the 73-year-old woman. Can you imagine? She probably never wanted to get on that boat in the first place.
Yeah, she was not.
She had to be. Come on, Grandma. It's gonna be fun.
Imagining her Maryland print tank top.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
Sitting in the corner, wants nothing to do with it. Yeah. You think some 73-year-old woman is trying to go deep sea fishing and reel in a 100-pound fish?
0% chance.
Right. I told you, didn't want to go. And now I've been impaled by a 100-pound fish. The victim was with two others last Tuesday when an angler on board caught the sailfish on a fishing line 2 miles offshore near Stuart, Florida. As they attempted to reel it in, two men on board noticed the creature began to charge the boat.
What?
The fish then jumped out of the water and stabbed the woman in the groin.
That fish is literally
she was standing next to the center console.
That fish is literally looking for violence.
Yeah. Oh, he's like, oh, you think you're taking me? I'm taking you. Watch this.
That's an aggressive fish.
Can you imagine the fear? I'm just running the other way. If I see that thing make a look like I'm coming at you guys now.
And you even said she was near the center console.
Like that's I said,
a leap.
She wanted nothing to do with this.
That's a leap.
They dragged her on that boat.
Right.
Oh.
Okay, so what happened to her?
We don't know yet. She got taken to the hospital.
Oh, God.
There's no update on her condition. Sounds like she's alive. Impaled in the groin. Can you imagine looking down and seeing a 100-pound fish impaling your leg? Oh, my God. I would never get over it. Ever.
I'm never going on a boat.
You'd never look at me the same. You'd be like, that's the guy who got impaled by a 100-pound fish in the groin. And he wasn't even trying to catch the fish. He was just on the boat.
He didn't even want to be here.
No.
Pass.
These fish can weigh up to 200 pounds and can grow to 11 feet in length.
Woof.
God damn. I don't know. They're looking for new ideas at WWE. I don't know. Let's think about it.
They're not going to do that anymore.
Oh, they don't do stuff like that?
No, Vince McMahon, so we're good.
What's it going to be now? Disneyized WWE?
No, they're not going to do those gimmicks. Yeah. Good God, these things are crazy looking.
Crazy looking. It's something straight out of
Their fins are insane.
Insane. Yeah. It's like the big one. You got the big one.
It's the Florida Marlins logo.
Yeah.
With a bigger fin.
Yep. If that mascot...
The old God, like three rebrands ago, Marlins. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, the big giant...
With the F. The F with the fish over it.
Yeah, with the big, long sword snout. Mm-hmm. You don't mess with that thing.
And
as she learned, you do not mess with that thing.
I don't even want to talk about, when it happened, how the removal went.
Yeah. Oh. How'd they get it out of her?
Yeah.
Oh. Get the giant fish out of my leg! How did she not have a heart attack right at that moment? I would have had a heart attack.
Did they saw the point off?
I don't know.
Because you don't know. Sometimes removing things will kill you.
I'm not sure. I would rather die if that happened to me. Let me go. Hey, what happened to your leg? It's a long story. No, what happened? So I'm on a fishing boat, and this 100-pound fish jumped on the boat and impaled me.
That I didn't want to go to.
Yeah.
That's what I'd always start off
Yeah.
with.
I didn't want to go to this. I told them this. We talked about it for days. I said I just wanted to stay ashore. You boys have your fun. Nope. You got to come. It's not going to be fun without Grandma there. It's only deep-sea fishing if Grandma's on the boat.
Now
How do you feel now, boys?
She probably did want to go. That's probably what happened.
Yeah. She's probably like, I beat it up. She's probably like, I pulled it out myself.
I was going to say, she is now pretty badass.
And then, did it go all the way through her leg?
That's a good question. That's what I'm saying. It had to have.
Like, sometimes, when you hear someone got gored at the Bulls thing, that could mean you just got kind of like hit by it and thrown up in the air, or it could go all the way in.
If it made that big of a leap and she's near the center console, it has to be.
So it was like sliding on the
I think it
boat.
went jump. Because if it jumped, then the boat's going and it's going the opposite way. That's easy. That's an easy jump for it, is what I'm getting
Those
at.
2 seconds of seeing that thing leap out of the water coming right at you with that sword. Oh, man.
Oh, God.
That's There's no stopping it now. How your reflexes, Grandma? Oh, man. She probably pulled her gun out and shot it. That's probably what she did.
Maybe.
Could be. I don't like it.
I don't want to fish anymore.
Couple things from old Live Golf.
Oh, what's the update?
Charles Barkley wisely has put a number on what he wants.
Oh.
And put a timeline on it.
Okay.
Went on Dan Patrick's show and basically said, look, guys, I make $20 million a year. So if you want to triple that, then we could have a conversation about this.
There we go.
Publicly said that.
There you go.
Then said, they've gotten, a lot of publicity out of me this week by talking about me and getting me out there to play that Pro-Am. So they have until Wednesday night to make an offer to me, or we're done talking about all this stuff.
I saw Darren Ravel retweeted one of the kind of analytics companies that did all the analyzation of how much money Liv has gotten off of this coverage.
Yeah.
It's up to like $16 million.
Right. And that's what Barkley's saying.
Yeah.
Y'all used me this week.
Right.
Pay up, boys.
Right.
Pay up. They also said one other thing. They're considering relegation.
Oh.
So you might get bought to get in.
Yeah.
But as the PGA Tour, one of their criticisms was, what are you playing for?
Yeah.
Well,
there you go.
Now if you're in the bottom part of it, they kick you out and replace you.
So that means we finally got to the point here where, because remember, the big point was, even the lowest tiered player, lowest ranked player was going to make money. So now you have to make it into that tier, though.
Well, no, they make it. But if you're in that low tier by the end of the 8 events, you're relegated.
There you go.
And you're out.
All right.
Go play in that dumb PGA Tour where you make 1/15 of what we're paying you here.
Right.
Now I'm starting to think they're smart.
There you go.
All right, take a quick break. Bram Weinstein Show, ESPN 630 Sports Capital.